One day, 6017 was in the sheds. When will I pull passenger cars? I don't know, old boy. Then the controller arrived. 6017, I need you to go take some freight cars across the island. But why? Do it or you're getting scrapped. You hear me? Alright, fine, I'll do it. The freight cars are in the other siding. You'll pull passenger cars next week. Passenger cars? Finally, I can do something I can't once in a while. That's next week. I need you to take those cars today. The freight cars. Alright, sir. I'll do it. The controller went away, and his driver got in his cabin, lighted his fire. It's a long passenger train. Freight train, I mean. So you'll need an extra tender. What? A tender? Yes, a tender. Oh, some dirty, stinky freight cars. And I need a tender. A grand engine like me without a tender. Going to get a tender to pull some freight cars. 6017 spotted the tender at the other side of the yards. Diesel shunted the tender. It was a tender just for the old locomotive. So 6017 set off to collect the freight cars. You know, why can't James or Thomas pull a goods train once they're in life? Heck, why not make even Thomas or Gerald do it? Hey, why have we stopped? Hey, wait a minute, wait. The sudden jerk of the train stopping and then starting had thrown his driver off the footplate. Wait, stop. There was a goods engine waiting in the siding. Then suddenly, the train rushed through the siding much too fast. Help, I can't stop. The train rushed through crossings much too fast. Now it'll run away without its driver. The engine's brakes had failed. 6017 hadn't known that the points were switched. '6017 hadn't known the points were switched and crashed into the siding. Unfortunately, this would have been the last time 6017 ever pulled free. Quickly, a diesel was notified of the crash and went to catch the breakdown train. And soon the diesel was coupled up to the breakdown train. Soon the breakdown train arrived. The breakdown train got ready and into position. Then slowly, the crane used its power and went and connected to the cars to lift them back onto the tracks. The mighty power of its engine, it got the cars back onto the tracks. And soon enough, the train was starting to look normal again. One by one, the cars were rearranged, put back onto their positions. Then it was time for the locomotive. The crane had a slightly hard time coupling up to the locomotive tender, but slowly and surely it got the job done. It got the tender back onto the rails once more. Then it was time for the locomotive. '6017 lay dazed and surprised. This tested the strength of the crane. The crane's arm almost wasn't long enough to reach the locomotive, but it slowly got it back onto the rails. Slowly but surely it made progress, getting the locomotive back on the rails once again. The locomotive would later be restored to full passenger service. Not soon after, the train was back on the rails once more, and the crane went away. The crane was once again put back into its position, back at the yards. As for 6017, 6017 was later repaired and put back into the passenger service. The controller visited 6017 after its accident. They had a talk, and so 6017 was to pull passenger cars for the rest of its time. No one really knew about the crash of 6017, but in later years, it would go on to become an incident that would known to become a warning for large engines, every engine, even those that they can handle their own power, they can also crash, no matter what. Big, small, medium engines, all engines of the same size can crash, sometimes under the same circumstances, or sometimes even worse. Lucky to say 6017 had a normal life after that. Only in special occasions was 6017 to pull freight